everybody. This is Nick Evil Hair. I'm with Lee Canese, and we're on our way down to Lake Chickamauga for the second Cabela's Collegiate Tournament of the year. Just thought it'd be a good time to do a Table Rock recap. Last weekend we fished Table Rock, and going into it we didn't have a whole lot of practice, so I did a lot of research online to basically find out what the fish were doing, knowing that we wouldn't have any practice and we'd have to figure it out during the tournament as we went. So through the research that I did, I found out that the fish were shallow. There's actually some fish spawning. Basically, a lot of the people there, you can find clear water, stained water, or really muddy water, and a lot of the people were catching the fish in the off-colored water with like a green tint to it. So going into the tournament, that's what we tried to focus on. We launched out of Kimberling City, and we went to Indian Point, North Indian Creek, first thing in the morning, and I was throwing a wiggle board and Lee was throwing an Alabama rig, and basically stuck to those two baits the whole day because we figured that would be our best chance to catch fish. And we threw a few other baits like spinnerbait and jig in between there, but I basically threw 90% of the time through a wiggle board, and Lee threw an Alabama rig. In the North Indian Creek, Lee started off. He ended up catching 2 keepers in that North Indian Creek before 10 o'clock. So he caught those on the Alabama rig, and they were both about 16 inches, nothing big, but good solid fish for Table Rock. And we didn't catch a whole lot of short fish, but we were happy to catch the fish that we did. At around 10:30, we decided to make a run down to Long Creek to find some a little bit muddier water, a little off-stained water, so that off-colored water, so that we could hopefully trick the fish a little bit more, because on Table Rock the water's so clear you almost have to find off-colored water or anywhere the wind's blowing into the bank or something like that. So we ran down to Long Creek, and the first spot we wanted to hit actually had the wind blowing into it pretty good, and it was just basically a creek channel, swung into the bank, had some big rocks and things like that. So we started going down that bank, and I caught one pretty fat 15-incher on a wiggle board right away, probably 3rd or 4th cast in there, and then kept going down a little bit more and ended up catching our biggest fish of the tournament, which was a 5-pound 9-ounce fish. He hit right by the boat, and we were lucky to get him in. Lee actually missed him with the net. He went under the boat. It was pretty crazy for a little bit there, but we got him in the boat, and that's all that matters. So that was our biggest fish. It was 5 pounds 9 ounces, and after that we fished down in Long Creek a little bit more and fished a lot of stuff that was similar to what we fished, what we caught our fish on earlier in the day. And we caught that big one at about 11:30 and didn't catch another keeper until right at the end. We had to run back to the launch ramp and make sure that we would get back and everything with the weight that we had, but we only had 4 keepers, so we were really looking to catch another keeper right there by the ramp and hopefully, you know, get in the top 15 cut. So we went to the ramp, and the water is so much clearer there. I mean, you can see down 10 foot, and so Lee was throwing an Alabama rig again, and we literally had just a few minutes to go, and Lee hooked up with our second biggest fish of the day. Ended up weighing about 3.5 pounds or so, and he hooked up with that fish, and we got him in the net, threw him in the live well, and went straight to check-in. And that was pretty exciting, catch a fish there at the very end, and I mean, it was awesome. After we checked in, we really didn't think we had enough to win it. We weighed in, we were early. We weighed in 16 pounds 2 ounces.
Okay.
And
5th team to weigh in, probably.
We were only the 5th team to weigh in, and I mean, we were leading at the time, but there was tons of teams to weigh in, so I didn't think it would hold up. We loaded up the boat, went back to weigh in, watched it for a little bit. Sure enough, Kevin Hunt said, "You guys are still in the lead. We want you to come up and sit on the hot seat." So we went up and sat on the hot seat with about 10, 15, 20 teams left to go, and I really didn't think it would hold up, but it ended up, we had enough, and I think second place was 15 pounds, so we won by over a pound, a little bit over a pound, so it was pretty exciting. It's the first FLW tournament, or really any bigger tournament, college tournament, that I've won in the 4 years that I've fished college tournaments, so it was really exciting, and we got $2,000 for the club and some nice trophies. And other than that, Lee, do you have anything to say?
It was great. Catching that fish on the last cast was I mean, Nick said we should give up, said we should go ahead in. I was like, oh, we got 5 minutes, we're only a minute away from where we got to check in. We can take the trolling motor there, so we'll fish another 2 minutes, and yeah, that's what did it for us.
Worried about the boat not starting and messing things up, but it worked out. Everything worked the way it was supposed to, and we ended up pulling out the win. So as far as baits we use, like I said earlier, we just use a wiggle wart and an Alabama rig. For the wiggle wart, I just used a Phantom Green. I caught one fish on Phantom Green crawl wiggle wart and another fish on the Phantom Brown crawl, and we were basically just getting the boat as close as we could to the bank and paralleling the banks, we just covered a ton of water. That was our game plan going into it, was just put the trolling motor on high and cover as much water as we could, since we didn't have any practice. As far as for the wiggle wart, I'd throw right up against the bank, but for Lee, he was throwing the Alabama rig, and he'd basically throw straight out in front of the boat, and that's where he would catch his fish. So usually about 10 foot of water. Usually about 10 foot of water is where he would catch it. For his Alabama rig, he was throwing it on 20-pound Berkeley trilene fluorocarbon. Also, he had, since it's Missouri, you can only use 3 hooks. So the bottom 2, he had the Kitech swim baits, and for the middle one, he had a Berkeley Havoc beach shad. Basically, kind of the same setup we used for Kentucky Lake. I think every one of the fish you caught on that Alabama rig hit the beach shad that was in the middle, just because it's a little something different. And so that's basically what we did. Other than that, I don't really think we have anything else about it.
Pretty much did the same thing all day. For the most part.
We just covered a lot of water and fished the same thing all day because we knew it would work. Big thanks to Blake Canese. We ended up using his boat because my boat was in the shop, and this week we're actually using his brother's boat, Lee. We're using Lee's boat this week, so hopefully I can get back in my boat pretty soon. But thanks to Blake for letting us use his boat, and also thanks to Chad Morgenthaler. He let us stay at his place Friday night. We were planning on sleeping in the trucks, and ended up called him up, and he said, yeah, just stay at my apartment. So we stayed there, and while he was down there at Gunnersville fishing the Elite Series tournament. So thanks to those guys. Thanks to all our sponsors. University of Evansville, obviously, they let us go to all these tournaments and help us out with funding. Jasper Engines Transmission, Pure Fishing, Abu Garcia, Tackle Warehouse, Berkeley, Rod Glove, and
Elite Tungsten.
So check out those sponsors. They support us, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do without them. So other than that, that's all I got. Check in next time. Hopefully we do well down here at Chickamauga, and see you later.